sometimes uh, the question get asked, what comes first? The thing itself or the idea of the thing itself? See, there is something I call the three eyes. Three eyes is that the human being, it's an insufficient being. It means the human being does not have everything that it needs or wants to be or wants to become. That insufficiency creates inadequacy, meaning the human being is not adequate in itself. It's not complete in itself. The human being is not whole. There's the perception that something is lacking. And that perception is conceived. It gets projected because it's just a perspective. So because of insufficiency and inadequacy, the human being is an insecure being. It's insecure because it's conscious of its vulnerability, its lack, want, desires, fears. That's why you got the three eyes. Insufficiency, inadequacy leads to insecurity. So the human being is an insecure being. We come to the human space with the consciousness and our awareness that we are not complete. This insecurity, you get one insecure person, get engaged to another insecure person in a union of what we call marriage. Because I know I'm not complete. And I need somebody to be able to share my life with, to compensate my inadequacy, insufficiency, and insecurity with. So all of us can come together and become whole and build something that becomes so strong and so powerful and so wonderful and excellent and happy and blissful. When the group become insufficient, inadequate and insecure, they form a group. When the group becomes more insecure, they form a tribe. And when that tribe becomes more insecure, scared of what will happen to them, either from enemies or because of nature or their ignorance or their needs and want, they get to know that they cannot provide for themselves or take care of themselves and everything that they need. And they form a country. And when this country in itself is threatened by other countries, this country form organizations and blocks. And when these blocks themselves feel threatened, insufficient, insecure, and inadequate, they form a world body or international organizations. So when humans come together one another, they come conscious or unconscious to address their insecurities. And the more the human being does everything to fight the insecurities, the more the human being becomes a better being. Because the more secure you become, the more whole you become, the less vulnerable you feel, the more tolerant and friendlier and cooperative, willing to let go because you have everything you need, you want. The more insecurity people become, the more hateful, right? They envy. They become racist or sexist or bigot or inhumane or cruel because it becomes a thing of survival. They are suspicious of the other. They are afraid of the other. Not that they're terrible people, just because they don't feel secured in themselves. Isn't it become a matter of intelligence and ignorance and fear? That the more you know, the less afraid you become. You only become afraid if what you know in itself is threatening. The more intelligent the human being becomes, the less suspicious they become. And the more intelligent, and the more you use your brain wisely, the wealthier you become, the healthier you become, and the happier you become. And the more secured in yourself you become. You get to see that ignorance becomes part of our fears. What are we afraid of? Why are you scared? Is it because you don't know? And that if you know, you will not be scared or worried or afraid? Does ignorance lead to superstition or suspicion? What comes first? Everything starts from an idea. For example, if I tell you that I just bought myself a Tesla, a picture will develop in your mind. What type of Tesla is it? What color? Right? What model? How does it look like? So every idea develops a mental picture. That mental picture develop the 3 P's. That mental picture develops a projection of that picture, a perspective, and a perception. And all this can be wrong. But once the human being develops that mental image, the human being is either conscious of it or unconscious of it. But when the human being seeks to interact or communicate or converse or talk to another human about the idea, that human being equally has an image in the mind, the mental image. So this mental image drives our thought, our interactions with one another. But the fear is for that mental image to be corrupted. Once the mental image is corrupted, everything the being gets can be wrong. It becomes subjective. If out of religion or culture or tradition or politics, that which is given a different identity, and the identity is seen differently, everything gets corrupted. So racism, for example, it's a mental corruption, right? Once you get an idea, that image of the idea is already infected. Somebody or something, for some reasons, for some belief system, has already corrupted that subconscious image of everything. So to fight prejudices or unconscious biases, you need to fix that image in itself. Unconscious bias is different from the bias itself. Unconscious bias comes from an infected or affected prejudicial mental image. Take, for example, if I teach a kid that blue is bad, remember, blue is just a color. If I tell a kid, or I teach a people, or a religion tells a people, or a tradition, a culture, that blue is bad, remember, that blue is evil. Blue is everything negative. When you see blue, run away. Because blue gonna do something terrible to you. Blue gonna kill you. Blue gonna take your people. It gonna take your women. It gonna take your money. Blue is just bad. Put it that way. And it's reinforced again and again and again. That blue is terrible. So this blue can be white. That blue can be black. That blue can be green. But remember, it's the mental image that is corrupted of a thing in itself, that there is nothing wrong with the thing itself. There's nothing wrong with blue. You know that, and I know that. But some Machiavellian psychologist with a diabolic intention, without you knowing, even before your existence, through philosophies, ideologies, and customization, and politics, and the norms, just make that which is not normal to be normal, remember? It's okay. So they have made blue. They have infected blue. So, whatever we talk about blue, if I say, oh, I was just basking in the blue skies, I've given you an idea about blue. But the blue skies I'm talking about, it's not the blue skies that you're thinking about. Because the blue skies, the mental image already is corrupted. So that blue, you will not be thinking for the blue itself, of which is beautiful. Just for a game, just natural. Blue, just a thing that cannot become anything unless a human being makes it to become a thing. So, the idea starts with the mental image. My point to you is that make sure that the mental image is neutral, is natural, is authentic, original, and plain. It's just itself, blank slate. Not meaning that the image you have in your mind is blank slate, but just that the image you have in your mind, just make sure you're fair to that image. It's not corrupted. Because once you got that image is projected onto it something. That's the first P, projection. And once there is that projection, the second P follows. There is a perspective. The perspective. And once the perspective follows, the last is the perception. Either the projection comes first, the perception or the perspective follows. But once you get one wrong, you risk having everything wrong. So that's why you want to make sure that your mental image of everything is not corrupted. Yeah, because once the mental image is corrupted, we get to see that many things in the world get wrong. Human beings fight for nothing. Human beings kill one another for nothing because of a corrupted image. If, for example, a man out of patriarchy or male chauvinism, teach a kid that a woman is less, that less becomes the mental image that you're developing that kid. The idea of woman is corrupted. When you know, and I know, that women are more intelligent than men, women live longer than men, women are more projective thinkers, women are better strategists, women, they see the bigger picture, the man sees the present. Women are preemptive and proactive in their decision making. Women got more wisdom than men do. We know all that. Women are better leaders. We know all that. But why is there sexism? Why is there discrimination against women? When in the first place, every man comes from a woman. Without a woman, nothing was made. With a woman, everything was made. Don't you see? I come from a woman, a beautiful woman. You come from a beautiful woman. Close your eyes and think of 3 important people in your life. I've done this test everywhere I go. I say to you, close your eyes and think about the 3 most important people in your life. I bet you 2 out of 3 will be a woman. What's my point? Is that, again, the idea of woman, the image is corrupted. If I say think of a woman, and you just think of a woman, a positive image, it gives you a positive result. If you don't want to think positive or negative, just let it be neutral. Let the thing think for itself before you infect or affect it. The image creates sexism. Think about racism. I talk about a human being. Already, you ask me, what race? Where does he come from? How does he look like? Who is he? Where was he born? Where are you from? Tell me something about it. So you ask all these questions because there's already a mental image. That image, a negative image can make a good human being to become wrong, to become a bad person. All the racism, it's not that people are bad. I always believe that a human being is a good person. But the thing that gets corrupted is the image. Always remember that, my friend. You're a good person. I believe in it. You know you're a good person. Every human being knows that they're good people, but sometimes they might get things wrong. The thing that they get wrong stems from a negative image of everything. Racism is a negative image implanted in your mind. Sexism is a negative image implanted in your mind. You can get it out to free your mind, to be a free thinker. To be free means that the mind is not subjective to something that's corrupted. Don't you see? To think freely, it means you're fair, you're just. Equity creates equality. Inequities creates inequalities. It might come from idea. That idea got corrupted. And good people, they get to fight one another for no good reason. In the beginning was an idea. The idea created an image. With that image came a projection, a perception, and a perspective. If you get one wrong, you get everything wrong. When you fear, what makes you to be afraid? Remember, fear is an image of something. That image, is it valid? Is it authentic? Is it original? If the fear is real, then let it be addressed. But remember, the image of that which is. unless it's corrupted. So if the fear is genuine fear, then the image of the fear is genuine. Remember, fear, is it out of insufficiency, inadequacy, or insecurities? If we can address our fears, and we get to see what makes us to be insufficient, what makes us to have the feeling of inadequacy or insecure. If we can seek to fix that, you get a better humanity, and you get a better you. The you is a you that seeks to be secured, seeks to be sufficient, seeks to be adequate, seeks to be valid, seeks to be important, seeks to be relevant, seeks to be loved, seeks to be. Because to be or not to be depends on the person. That person is an idea. That idea develops mental pictures. That mental pictures can create insufficiency, insecurity, or inadequacy. We can build a better humanity if we just know what we believe in. If we strive for positive images. The first thing you should think about anything is a positive image. And let the thing itself prove itself to be wrong. I trust people before they distrust themselves. I believe in people before they make me disbelieve in them. Love first before you learn the lesson of not to love. But if you don't love what you have, you must seek to love. You must seek to trust. You must seek to be tolerant. At the end of the day, all of us have just one life to live. There's no copy to it. You got one physical life. I got one physical life. You have come here to do your thing. Intrinsic individuality. I've come here to do mine. By the end of the day, you don't need to stop me from becoming me. I don't need to stop you from becoming you. Because the thing that I become might be the thing that you need. And the thing that you become can be the thing that not just I need, that the whole world needs. Remember, the 3 P's. Projection, perception, perspective. You get one wrong, you get it wrong. You might get it wrong because of a mental image that came from a valid idea. And once a mental image is corrupted, the projection to the image is corrupted. The perspective about that image is corrupted. And the perception about that image is corrupted. And if sometimes we find ourselves hurting one another for no good reason. See, the fear sometimes can be artificial. Because the person corrupts the idea with an infected or negative image. And once that image is there, the person now can make the fear to be more dreadful. And once that fear becomes more dreadful, then that same person now pretends to be the guarantor of that fear. The person becomes the thing that prefer to protect you from the fear. Then they can sell you weapons, to buy more weapons, because they have created insecurities, insufficiency, and inadequacies. So you don't buy the weapons and stockpile the weapons because there is a real threat, but it comes in the mind because that idea has given you a negative image of fear. Once got the fear, then the person can then sell you something to take care of the fear. It can be alcohol. It can be drugs. It can be good feeling pleasures like sex. that leads to crimes or certain things. Or it can be good feeling consumptions. You tend to buy a lot that you don't need in order to feel secured, to feel adequate. Buy things when you need them. Because if you buy things out of insecurity, it will not give you happiness. If you consume alcohol out of insecurities, it will not take away your troubles. If you find yourself into drugs and crime, you see, you just hurt your life more. I'm just a philosopher. I'm a thinker, and a motivational speaker, an inspirational speaker. I don't tell you what to do. That would defeat the purpose. I just make you to think, to believe in yourself, trust yourself, love yourself, just be tolerant. Always know that every negative image in your mind, there is the positive image. I'll talk about that later. I call it optionality and optionalism, or optionism. That the mind is natural. It's always the yin and the yang, the negative and the positive voice. Before you undertake to do something, something in you tells you not to do it. Right? I want to go to bed. Something in my mind always tells me, you can choose not to go to bed, Because that thing wants you to be free in your decisions. If I choose to go, there are consequences. If I choose not to, there are consequences. The image, the idea, the insufficiency, the inadequacy, the insecurities, the options, that leads to choice. We must take all these things into considerations to have a better life. Our thinking must not be infected. Ignorance sometimes cannot be your friend. Seeking to know is better than not knowing.